Hello and welcome to Libra season. Thanks for tuning in to the Embodied Astrology podcast. I'm Renee Sills. I'm a consulting astrologer, embodiment educator, and multidimensional human who, like you, is on a journey through this crazy thing we call life here on planet Earth. These days, as I'm sure you've noticed, life on Earth is complex, chaotic, confusing, terrifying, and deeply heartbreaking, yet also still full of beauty and saturated by the mysterious substances of sentient potentiality. In many ways, these times are to be expected, given the histories and cycles that they're emerging within. In the ongoing evolution of human consciousness, navigating times of crisis has always been our necessity. Throughout history, we humans have had to reckon with creative and destructive potentials, and the ways in which we can make meaning and grow through experiences of tragedy and pain. Over the ages, one of our most important evolutionary guides and allies in meaning making has been astrology. Astrology is expansive, and the type that I practice, which is called tropical astrology, is just one of its many forms. Different forms of astrology exist and have existed on every part of the globe, and new forms and variations are still being created. At its most fundamental level, astrology is an orientation of attunement with the cycles and seasons of the cosmos, and a practice of listening and communing with the most important planet of all, which is the one we're part of, Earth. If you, like me, are interested in how you can live into the fullest potential of your lifetime, in service to the life and lives yours is interwoven with here on Earth, I want to invite you to join me next month for an in-person on-land retreat, where we'll explore how embodying astrology can help us attune with our intuition, open our imaginations, and show up for our journeys with inspiration, presence, and purpose. October 24th through 27th at the Eco-Dharma Center in the Rocky Mountains, I'll be joined by my colleagues Ramon and Michelle Gabrieloff-Parrish for a deep dive into experiential astrology. During this 4-day residential retreat, we'll engage with charts, signs, and symbolism. We'll spend time outside, connecting with our physical presence, somatic intelligence, and psychic process, in communion with the land and sky. We'll experiment with the potential of astrology to elaborate systems thinking, expand mind-body coherence, and assist us in cultivating perspectives on how our individual inheritances and personal potentials can help us all meet the historic moment we're in as change agents, healers, and visionaries. If this sounds like the place you want to be, I hope you'll join us. Learn more about the Body of Stars retreat by clicking the link in the show notes or visiting embodiedastrology.com, where you can find more information from the drop-down menu in the study section. Last but not least, before we get to your sign-specific horoscopes, I do want to remind you that these readings are somewhat personal explorations of larger collective symbols. Take what works, leave the rest, and make the meaning that's meaningful for you. For a broader focus on the astrology of current events and a collective reading, make sure to listen to my Libra season overview, available on YouTube or wherever you stream your podcasts. Hello Cancer, welcome to Libra season. We're going to tune in with your horoscope through the head, the heart, and the body. In Libra season, we're calling in guidance from some of Libra's most important keywords and themes. These include beauty, love, and balance. All of these ideas, these concepts, represent huge spectrums of potentiality, and particularly with the keywords and themes of beauty and love, we definitely have the equal and opposing keywords and themes. We are able to identify what is beautiful in contrast to what is not beautiful. Love has a very distinct kind of feeling to it, and often we are brought into awareness of what love truly is by having experiences of what love is not. And the process of balance is the process of learning how to dance. It is the awareness that balance is cyclical and spiralic, and in order to find our own center, we also have to know when we're off center. And so cultivating awareness of imbalance is an important part of the process when we are seeking balance. So as we move into Libra season, I feel like a lot of you are really having some new and different experiences in your relationships. And things are clicking for you in different ways about how your social landscape has changed and how you, therefore, are really changing. And this has a kind of motivating quality to it. I think that a lot of you want to continue to change. And there is a feeling of a state of awareness of transformation and the potential of that. And so you have arrived at a place where you are remarkably different. And for those of you that have been following along with me for a while, you've heard me talking for years about Pluto in your opposite sign, Capricorn. And of course, Libra season is going to be knocking on the door of that placement, because Libra is also on the cardinal cross with Cancer, Capricorn, and of course, Aries. And so this season is a period of time when the literally last days of Pluto and Capricorn are happening. And this is the end of an era. You could listen to your 2024 year ahead reading if you want a big summary of that, or I don't know, go back through the Embodied Astrology vaults and listen to your horoscopes for the last couple of years, maybe particularly around Cancer and Capricorn season. And you'll get a kind of idea of what this process has been about. So what I'm going to say right now is that your relationships are remarkably different. And I think that a lot of you are having an aha moment and a revelation inside of your relational landscapes. And you're looking around and you're going, wow, this is really different. And inside of your awareness of that difference, you are feeling the potential of what can happen now. Now that we are no longer doing the same thing anymore, what can we do? And this is a big theme for Libra season in general. And this feeling of, what can I do? What can I build? What can I create? Is really taking up a lot of your focus and your attention. This is a season that is asking you to really embody your own sense of weight and gravity. I mean that totally literally. So this is a great time for you to work with meditative practices of standing or sitting, where you're really concentrated on your direct connection to the ground and to earth. And in that connection, letting yourself receive the touch of earth into your body. And in that receptivity and awareness of relationship, you can remind yourself of your sovereignty and your choice, and also the support that's available to you in the perspective that you are a child of earth. Earth is massive. Earth is way older than you're ever going to get. And so there can be a kind of delightful surrender where we let go of all the flotsam and jetsam that's flying around in our minds, right? And just tune in with that sense of personal purpose, right? Who are you in this particular incarnation, in this life? What is the energy that is moving up and through you that wants to be expressed through your life? There is a feeling of you coming home right now. And in that return and that groundedness, the sensation that I get is that you are coming home to yourself. Some of you may be experiencing actual returns. You could be visiting family. You could be coming back to some places or relationships in your life that remind you of certain core aspects of who you are, who you have been. But my big feeling for you is that you are coming home to yourself. And as you come home to yourself, there is a lot of energy building in your body about what can we create from here. The first 10 days of Libra season, we are in the thick of eclipses. There's an eclipse on September 17th that's a full moon lunar eclipse in your fellow water sign Pisces. And on October 2nd, we have a solar eclipse and new moon in your fellow cardinal sign Libra. And so you're one of the few signs that is actually really dynamically in relationship with both of these other zodiacal energies in really important ways. And these eclipses, to me, are telling the story of a new path opening up in your perception and the awareness of what you have done in order to get here. It feels like you have climbed a metaphorical mountain and now you're on top and you are looking out at the horizon and you are seeing possibilities that you never even knew existed. And as you take in the expanse of what is possible, you also are able to recognize how you got here and what you did in order to support this growth, and also aspects of your being that are now, I'm going to say, non-negotiables, that you are really centered in and strong in, and that you want to keep cultivating so that you can continue this momentum and so that you can build towards what's next. Now, eclipse times tend to be pretty intense periods of time for a lot of people, especially, for Cancer, you are governed by the moon, and the moon is a really important body when it comes to what makes eclipses happen and what's getting eclipsed or doing the eclipsing. And so during this period of time, I definitely want to encourage you to stay really attuned and aware with your internal, subjective, and emotional state. Be very conscious right now of your thoughts and how your thinking organizes and shapes your experiences. You know this, right? You know that if you are allowing your mind to loop and loop and loop and loop around the same negative thought pattern, that then your experience is going to be very flavored by that thought pattern. You might not be able to enjoy the day. You might be oriented towards conflict or something like that. So you want to be working skillfully with your mind as we move towards these eclipses, and really noticing what kinds of perceptual states are coming up through your mind. In particular, to do the final little pieces of this transformative project that has had to do with Pluto and Capricorn. And so I want to invite you to notice where the old stories are still looping, where you're still telling the same story over and over again. And it's like, some of you might notice like, oh, you have grudges. Oh, you have like buried resentments that are actually just creating like an issue, right? So are there ways that your mental energy and mental attitudes can be given attention in order for your experiences to shift? How you perceive something has everything to do with how you're going to experience it. Right now, we want to awaken the agency that we have in our perception in order to shape and change our experiences. This is very important for you right now. And as we move into October, we're beginning a retrograde cycle of Mars. Mars is traveling direct currently in Cancer. You have Mars in your sign. It will move into Leo, where it's going to station retrograde towards the end of the year in early December, and then come back to Cancer, where it will station direct in the end of February next year. Mars is stationing at 17 degrees of Cancer, and it enters what's called its shadow phase on October 4th. So this is when its direct motion brings it across 17 Cancer. I'm giving you that data in case you're an astro nerd and you work with your own placements and you want to go check your chart. If you have 17 degrees, or if any of your placements are kind of close to 17 degrees or in the later part of Cancer, so from 17 to the end of Cancer, then those placements are really going to get the direct hit of this Mars retrograde. And I would strongly encourage you to learn about those placements and to enter a reflective process with yourself from now until next February. You could even take it all the way till March. as you can work with the entire shadow period. Now I'm forgetting if it's March or May. Whatever, take it to February, right? End of February, as a kind of reflective guide. Hey there. I'll be back in just a minute with the rest of your Libra season horoscope, but I wanted to let you know that if you're enjoying this reading and it's resonating for you, the best way to integrate and bring astrology's best potentials into your life is to put them into practice. At Embodied Astrology, that's exactly the kind of thing we do. Every month and throughout the seasons, we offer opportunities to engage the creative, experimental, and experiential aspects of current astrology. This season, I hope you'll join me for Somatic Space, which is a class I offer every Monday, where we prepare ourselves to work with the astrology of the week ahead through gentle, healing body practices, breathwork, meditation, and visualization. Over the weekend of October 12th and 13th, we also have 2 wonderful workshops with our faculty members, Gabs and Junata. On Saturday, October 12th, Gabs 404 will be joined by a special guest, the astrologer and time researcher Christopher Burrick, in the Nebula Lab, where they'll deep dive into time as a substance and explore the many ways that time has been measured, expanded, stretched, and played with, and how we can work with time across time through the cyclical symbolism of the outer planets. The next day, Sunday, October 13th, Junata Petrus returns for the Aries full moon edition of her monthly Artistic Alchemy series. In these sessions, Junata brings us into the textural, sensual encounters with the solar-lunar axis and full moon vibes by sharing playlists, artist practices, and personal prompts that help us uncover and expand our personal creative practices and life as artistry. These events are all offered on Zoom and available by recording if you can't attend live. Our offerings also change with each season and are always curated to meet the moment. To find out more, check the upcoming events in our show notes or click Study from the drop-down menu at embodiedastrology.com. So when we're working with Mars, we are always working with action, we are working with desire, we're working with activity, reactivity, with willpower, personal force, and also sexuality, as well as conflict energy, assertion, and aggression. For you, there are particular places in your life that you also want to be thinking about. You want to be thinking about your creative, self-expressive capacities, your eros, your like romantic, sensuality, erotic, generative energy. And then you also want to be thinking about what are you doing with your life, your career, your vocation, how you put yourself out into the world. These are the areas of life that are indicated in the Cancer solar charts where Mars has a very palpable kind of impact. How do you want to be using your energy? Where do you want to be moving forward with new direction, with clarity, with assertion? What turns you on? What activates you? How do you want to be engaging with conflict in dynamic and healthy ways? And what about leadership? What about you in positions of power potentially, or engaging your own power, embodying your own power, trusting your own power, bringing your power into the roles that you play across the board in your life. Now, when it comes to how you're thinking about things and how you're perceiving things and how you're kind of working with the ways that you shape your life through your perception, that, of course, is going to have a big impact on your energy and how you apply your energy and what it is that you do. From October, again, through the first couple of months of next year, we're also working with a Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, and Gemini is the sign that comes right before yours. So this tells me that you are in a big period of reassessment and that there are certain ways that you have been mobilizing, activating, engaging, going after what you think you want, also engaging with conflict, engaging your sexuality or engaging around your desire, as well as like your life goals that just aren't actually accurate for you anymore. They are not reflective of your changing values. They don't get you in the direction that you want to be going, or maybe they're coming from perceptions and ideas about what your life is about, your personal philosophy, or what's meaningful, or things like that, that are ready for an update. And my feeling is that as we get close to the full moon on October 17th, and this is a full moon also on the cardinal cross in Aries, that there is a kind of swelling consciousness for you around how you want to be shifting your energy and what you want to be attending to. And there's an awareness of what's going on in your more like unconscious and environmental field that is ready to change so that you can move your energy in new and different ways. Some of you are really needing to make some boundaries right now, and I'm getting that a lot of you are allowing too much of your energetic and psychic and psychological space to be taken up by people or relationships or situations that are either not what you need to be paying attention to, they're not giving back to you in some kind of way, or they're issues that actually like you can't really affect. And maybe it's not really about you, but you're involving yourself in it somehow, and you're allowing your mental and energetic resources to get drained. I'm also getting that some of you want to redirect your attention right now so that you are kind of coming out of what feels like the horizontal relational plane and more deeply into the vertical axis. And the vertical axis has to do with creating stability for yourself, really being able to connect and attune with your own ground so that you can grow intentionally and create in your life in ways that are empowered. There are big themes of leadership coming into your charts. I know I've talked about this before. This was a theme in your 2024 year ahead reading. This full moon is really amplifying these leadership themes. It is asking you to step forward in some new kind of way, to trust your leadership capacity. And for some of you, leadership, isn't looking like you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 or like, the captain of a sports team or something. It actually just looks like you are being the adult in your life and you are making decisions from a place where you are responsible, and you understand your own agency. This requires you to trust that other adults in your life are also adults. It requires you to treat those people as if they were adults. And so I'm getting, because you're Cancers, right? Like I'm getting that there's a need for some of you to not parent other adults. If you have your own children, that's a different story. But if you're trying to parent other adults and like make sure that all of their needs are taken care of or that they're not having a tantrum or blah, 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 it's like you have to just let them do the thing that they're going to do and come into your vertical axis. Like, how are you stabilizing and supporting your self right now? How do you want to move in the direction that you are trying to move? And when it comes to the relational field, you want to know what it is that you need in order to continue with the relational agreements. And if you're not getting what you need, then we need you to make an adult decision about it and to communicate like an adult. And that means to communicate in ways that are self-responsible, that are accountable, and that have some clarity in them. So you're not trying to manipulate or coerce. You're just coming forward with the clarity of what it is that you want and need. You know what your own boundaries are. You know what your timelines are. You know what your expectations are. You can be available for process, conversation, and adaptation if you're dealing with other adults. When other people bring their inner child to your situation, right? And if they can't show up with accountability, with maturity, or with willingness to be in the process with you, that's clear information. And my feeling is that you are really needing to protect your psychic space right now. And again, to notice how your perception is getting organized, where your thoughts are going, where your attention is going,
and recalibrate and rebalance where there is an imbalance, where there's a misuse of your attention and time. This is motivating, ultimately. I think that this full moon, it feels like it gives you like a bit of rocket fuel or something. And that as we get into Scorpio season, which is a water season, it's complementary to your sign, you have a lot of energy to give to your life, to give to projects in your life. There is this kind of ongoing clean it up feeling where it's like you're getting rid of what doesn't help or serve you. And a lot of what you're getting rid of is like psychic, energetic, mental, emotional stuff that's just like floating around. It's taking up space. In some ways, it doesn't even feel like it has that much emotional charge to it anymore. It's just that it's there and you're habituated to it. And once you realize like, oh, you know, I'm still telling myself this story that I told myself 10 years ago about who I am and what I'm all about and where I'm going, but that's not true anymore. Once you stop telling that story, it's like, oh, it's quiet. You know, you can hear yourself think in a new and different way. All right, Cancer. So the main themes for Libra season have to do with rebalancing and noticing where you get pulled off of your own center. Continuing to create relational balance and what feels like generative reciprocity. So we're not always in like a fixed state of everybody's giving the same amount. You give 50, I'll give 50, now we'll have 100. Sometimes I'm going to give 10 and you're going to give 90. Sometimes it's going to be vice versa. But there is a sense for you right now of you need ongoing reciprocity in your relationships. You don't want to be trying to take care of people in the ways that they need to be taking care of themselves. If there are caretaking roles that you are fulfilling, then you need to understand like what the exchange is and what your reasons are for being there. And that needs to be your own kind of mature consideration and agreement. It feels like this is a period of time that is asking you to step into your power and to assume leadership in your life. And your leadership can look a lot of ways. It can manifest as a lot of things right now, but there is availability for you to take up some more space. There is a need for you to express yourself creatively and to really listen to your inner instincts and what is calling you into ongoing progress and evolution in your life, because something new is trying to form and it requires you to be listening to these deeper motivations and drives. And as you hear them, you have to also be willing to notice what gets in the way, what blocks, and where you can clear out space right now so that you can sense in a better way your own integrity, your own groundedness, your own priorities, etc. Clear it out. All right, Cancer, I hope any or all of that feels interesting and helpful for you. I'm wishing you all the best in Libra season and beyond. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this reading, please show your support. The easiest way to do that is to click the like, follow, and subscribe buttons below. Leave us great reviews on the streaming platforms you're tuning in with, and share our channels and offerings with your friends and networks. Your one-time and recurring donations sustain the production of this work. Click the link in the show notes to sign up for a monthly donation or leave us a tip. Thank you for your support.